mentioned in a recent video, when my husband and I were over in Traverse City for his work trip, I ended up going to some thrift stores to look for some books. And so I thought I would go ahead and take you to those places with me and be able to show you what I found. Because last year we went to several of these same stores and I was able to find a lot of really good stuff. And so I was really looking forward to it again this year, hoping that I would have the same experience. And so you're gonna find out if I did. Did I already say that I had a good experience? Did I already ruin it? Oh well. If you're new here, hello, my name is Danielle and I'm so glad you decided to stop by my channel. I hope you will enjoy this video, and if you do, I hope you will want to stick around, subscribe, say hello to me down in the comments for sure. And yeah, I just look forward to getting to know you better, and I hope you'll enjoy what my channel has to offer, because I really love books and I really love to talk about books and I really love to shop for books, and so I do a lot of that. And you'll notice if you check out some of my other videos. So, all right, let's just get into the places I went and what I found. So first up, I went to the Women's Resource Center in Traverse City, Michigan. And all the way down there, the building that I'm showing you here, this is all the thrift store. So it is a really good size and kind of a cool setup. And so this was the book area. It honestly was just two sides of two shelves. So it wasn't huge, but they had like a pretty good selection in there. And as I was looking through this, watching back, doing the editing stuff here, I, of course, am seeing books that I'm like, oh, I would have gotten that. Because isn't that just how you do when you're somewhere and you're, scanning through things? It's easy to kind of overlook things. So I do see a Pat Conroy book there. I'm not sure which one it is. I'd have to look closer. But I have heard Ian Goobly talk about Pat Conroy in like the most amazing ways. So I think eventually I would like to make sure that I pick up something from the author and check it out. But there was a great mix of, some newer books and some very much older books, because that's the nature of thrift stores. So yeah, just kind of giving you a little overview here of some of the things on the shelf. And then I will be showing you if there was anything that caught my eye enough to pick it up, besides the things that I clearly missed that now, if I could go back, I would have picked up. Funny enough, I went in this first thrift store, and last year I did not find books there, but I actually didn't buy anything there last year. But I was going in for filming some footage for my other channel, Glamburger, which I will have linked up here. It's always down in the description box if you want to check that out. And so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go back in there and see what they have this year and that kind of thing for that channel. Well, I started looking around and started looking at the books, and I was like, wait a minute. And so they were actually having a sale for fill a book for $3. So like a plastic grocery, fill a book. Did I say fill a book or fill a bag? It was fill a bag with books for $3, and it's a plastic grocery bag. And so I went through, they had like a cart of books right up at the front that I dug through after actually, but I didn't find anything in there. But back on the shelves in the back, I found some stuff. So let me show you what I got. First off, I got Pieces of Her by Karen Slaughter, and I have not read any Karen Slaughter yet, so I am excited to check these out. And I'll just do like a little quick kind of synopsis, tell you quickly what this is about. So this is about a girl named Andrea and her mom Laura, and they have this great life. Her mom is like, successful and everyone likes her and all this stuff. And they are in a mall one day, and some violence happens, and her mom stares down this, person who is doing this violence and stuff. And Andrea realizes her mom isn't who she has always thought she was. And she ends up finding out that Laura actually was someone different and has a past that she had gotten away from and has been able to keep for 30 years hidden, but now it's coming to light. And so Andrea is trying to figure out just exactly what was going on with her mom, like, what her past was and that kind of thing, and to be able to, keep her mom and herself safe. And so this sounds really intriguing to me. Then I picked up The Life She Was Given by Ellen Marie Wiseman. First of all, this cover gets me. Okay, so the story starts at 1931 with Lily, and she is kept in a room in her home. She's never allowed to venture out until one night her parents take her out and sell her to the circus. Then we are skipping to over 2 decades later, and we are seeing Julia, who inherits her parents' estate, and home was never a good place for her. There were like rooms that were forbidden to go in and things like that. Well, now she's got this estate, and she discovers like this locked hidden room in the attic where she finds pictures and of this striking girl in the circus. And so she's looking into what this is all about. And you're also going to see how Lily, what things were like for her when she got into the circus life, how at first it just seemed like another prison to her, but then some people come alongside her, and she really, you know, falls in love with the animals and things like that. And so good things start to happen for her, and she becomes like the main attraction. But then it says that tragedy and cruelty collide, and something happens to Lily. And so now, all these years later, Julia is trying to find out what exactly happened with Lily and that kind of thing, to bring healing and, you know, find out these, you know, secrets that her family had. So this sounds so good. Have any of you read this? I've never heard of this. I would love to know if you've read it. Obviously no spoilers, but yeah, it sounds so good. Then I picked up The Things We Leave Unfinished by Rebecca Yarros. I have not read anything from her, and I know she does like a lot of romance or fantasy, obviously. But I've heard really good things about her romance, and a lot of it, I think, is it like historical fiction, a lot like war type things or time. And so the story is Dual Timeline, which I love so much, another dual timeline. And it is about Georgia, who is recently divorced. She lost everything in the divorce, her home, her friends, all that kind of stuff. So she moves from New York back to Colorado to her great-grandmother's estate. And her great-grandmother was an author, and her last novel needs to be finished. And so this well-known author who writes a lot of romances and things like that, his name is Noah. The publishing company swears he is the perfect fit to finish her great-grandmother's novel. And she's like, no thanks. Like, this guy is this arrogant, whatever, like good looking, of course, but arrogant. She doesn't want him to be the one to do it. Now, Noah is at the pinnacle of his career. He's like doing fantastic. He has all these best-selling novels and things like that. And it would be like his dream to finish this novel of her grandmother's, because her great-grandmother's, because it's an author that he has always really admired. So now Noah and Georgia are reading her great-grandmother Scarlett's, you know, what she has written so far, and reading different letters that she has to find out why she never finished this novel. They figure out that she never finished this romance novel because it is based on a true love story of her own, where she had fallen in love with this World War II pilot, and it wasn't a happy ending. And so even though there's like this chemistry between Georgia and Noah, she wants nothing to do with it. She's like, this is just further proof that love doesn't work out, and, you know, seeing her grandmother's heartache, and she's determined to not suffer that same fate. So we'll see. I've got Lisa Gardner, One Step Too Far. I actually have only read one Lisa Gardner book, and I loved her writing, so I'm really excited to have this one now. So this is about a guy who knows the woods really well. He goes on this camping trip for a buddy of his bachelor party, and he goes missing. And there's no trace left behind. He's left behind like his heartbroken parents, his friends from this trip. You know, everyone's has no idea what happened to him. So this woman, Frankie, hears that the family is doing one last kind of search, big search for him. And so she heads to Wyoming to go into the woods and start searching. And the further she gets, the more she realizes that there is something or someone that does not want, you know, them to be snooping around and finding things out. And so it's a matter of what evil lurks when you take one step too far. And so right up my alley, the kind of stuff that I love. I also picked up Attachments by Rainbow Rowell. I've not read anything by this author either, but I've heard great things, so I was really excited when I found this. So this is about Beth and Jennifer, who work at a company together, and they send each other emails all the time back and forth, and, you know, about just gossip about people that they work with, just random stuff. Jennifer is married, and so she tells Beth things that she feels like she can't talk to her husband about. Beth tells Jennifer just everything in general. So there's this man, Lincoln, who was hired by the company to monitor email. and he's thinking to like keep it from, you know, being hacked, things like that. But instead he finds he has to like send people emails about not sending off-color jokes to each other and things like that, you know. Well, he ends up kind of, you know, he's seeing Beth and Jennifer's conversations back and forth, and even though he knows he shouldn't be like just reading them all the time, he can't help it because he realizes he started falling for Beth. And based on just what he's seeing, you know, with her interactions with Jennifer through their emails. And he's realizing he'd like to meet her, but like, how do you meet someone? Like, you can't just say, hi, I've been reading your emails, and by the way, I love you. It's kind of like what it says in here. And so, super funny. And I'm gonna read the last little part to you because this is what really got me. It says, with snapping dialogue and irresistible charm, Rainbow Rowell will transform an ordinary IT guy into a lovable and endearing romantic hero and proves that falling in love never happens the way you plan it. Written with whip-smart precision and charm, Attachments is a fresh and energetic debut that marks the arrival of an exciting new voice in fiction. So this was her debut novel, and I didn't even know that. But the reason that it drew me in is my husband is an IT guy. And so it just kind of made me laugh because like he sees things, you know, that he's like, oh brother, you know, with the emails and stuff. So he clearly hasn't had this type of a situation. He better not. I'm his wife. He better not be falling in love with some woman he sees her emails. I'm just kidding. But it just like drew me in because I'm like, I don't know, IT guy. I got a thing for IT guys. Well, one anyway. And then the last book that I picked up there is The Shadow House by Anna Downs. Like, look at this cover. Oh my goodness. So this is about a single mother, Alex, who wants a better life for her 2 children. So she moves to this, what, you know, seemingly idyllic community, and it's surrounded by these forests and it's beautiful, and she just thinks this is going to be a great place to raise her kids, you know. And she quickly realizes that something's off in her home and that there are like some secrets, and not all of the neighborhood seems real excited about her being there. And so some things start happening, some very eerie things, and she starts to realize that they may be in danger. And so I'm always down for a story like that. And again, like you're moving to this, like if I look at this picture, I'm like, I would live there. And so you think you're moving to like this perfect place for you and your family, but things are not always what they seem. While I was on this same trip, I actually went to a Books A Million for the very first time. And so I will link that up here because that video is already up if you have not seen it yet. And while I was there in the bargain book section, which was phenomenal, I so wish we had one of those near me, I saw 2 of these books that I picked up at the thrift store. I saw in that bargain section, and they were Lisa Gardner, One Step Too Far, and The Shadow House by Anna Downs. And so I was so excited because I had literally just been to the thrift store and then went over there and saw these 2 books in that bargain section, which made me deduce that probably people buy books at the Books A Million in the bargain section, and then when they're done with them, they send them over to the thrift store. And so I was the happy recipient of some of that, and so I thought that was pretty cool. Now this is a St. Vincent de Paul in West Branch, Michigan. So as we were heading back across the state to go back home, we stopped at this one because I was there last year and it was amazing. So taking you over to the book section, which is quite large because it's these shelves that go all the way around here on both sides that are pretty well packed with books. And again, typical thrift store style, you've got your really old books and then you've got some new ones too. So I, you know, kind of scanned through them quickly and then really started going shelf by shelf, looking individually. I knew I had the time to do it. My husband's like, you know, take your time and look for what you want. And so I did. I wasn't going to tell him no. And so, yeah, so you can see the prices there, really good for, I mean, you can't beat that. So they had all these Sookie Stackhouse part of the series, several of them. And I kept looking at them. Should I get them or not? So you'll have to wait and see at the end here what I decided to do. But yeah, just kind of showing you, this was funny too, we were laughing because it said like male authors up there, but then you would look through and it wasn't just male authors. So maybe once upon a time, that's how they organized them, and maybe they should just take those off the shelves because it didn't really apply. But yeah, lots and lots of books to look through, and I sometimes have things in mind, but not really, because you really can't when you're thrifting for books. Like, yeah, there's certain authors that I try to keep an eye out for, but mostly I'm just looking for anything that seems interesting. Okay, this thrift store last year I found, oh my gosh, so many books, so many books. And so this year, something that I did end up finding was there were several in the series of the Sookie Stackhouse series, and I was looking at it, but they didn't have some of the first ones. And I'm like, do I just go ahead and pick up the rest of the series and, you know, look for the other ones? Is it not worth it? Is it something I'm even going to want to read? I don't know, but I could always pass it on to maybe my nieces or something. I was going back and forth with myself because like the price is so good and all that. And then I was like, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that, because then I feel forced to find these other books. And if I can't find them for cheap, then I'm going to be paying more than I want to. You know, the things that we do. So I decided not to pick them up, but I showed them to you there. So if you think that I made a bad decision, you can tell me. There's nothing I can do about it now, but you can still tell me if you want. But maybe you think I made the right decision, so you can let me know that too. But I did find, even though I didn't find much there, which I was so sad because it's such a big, you know, a decent size anyway, book section. And I had such luck there last year, but it wasn't quite the same this year. But I did find a couple things, so here's what they are. First off, I found another Karen Slaughter book. So I found one at that first thrift store, and then I found After That Night by Karen Slaughter. So this is about Sarah, who 15 years prior, she had this great night out. It was a fun celebratory night, and it ended in a violent attack. And so she went through a lot to kind of rebuild her life. Now she's a successful doctor. She's engaged to a man that she really loves, and things are going well. Until one night, she is working in the ER, and a girl comes in who has been attacked. And once they look into it, it's very much seeming that it's connected to her attack 15 years prior. And so, like, just opening up that whole thing again, and now, like, this person is still out there and still doing this to people. So, yeah, always sounds good to me. And then the other book I picked up there is Spirit of the Season by Fern Michaels. I had to pick up another Christmas book. It was nice and short. I have no idea if I'm going to get through all of the Christmas books that I have picked up for December, but we will find out. So this will definitely be on my December TBR. And but I'll tell you a little bit about it now too. So this is about Joy. She is the CEO of a successful nail polish company, and she lives in Denver, Colorado. And her grandmother that she dearly loved passes away. When she finds out the terms of her grandmother's will, she's a little bit irked, because her grandmother wants her to come back from Denver, Colorado, where she lives, to North Carolina for 6 months to run the bed and breakfast that she had. And so she's like, how am I going to do that? My life is in Denver. So the bed and breakfast is called Heart and Soul, and it is just so perfectly decorated for the holidays. Every room is decorated, and Joy is there, and she's starting to realize that she's kind of enjoying this too. And but there's more than just that this bed and breakfast is known for. So rumor has it that during the holidays, guests might be able to be reunited with the spirit of a loved one who has passed. And so Joy gets to experience being a little reunited with her grandma, who may also be trying to do a little matchmaking. So there's a handsome estate attorney that Joy is maybe being matched to by her grandmother, and finding out if maybe there's some new beginnings for her. So it just sounds cute, cozy, like most Christmas kind of stories are. And so, yeah, I'm excited to read it. And then we went to Salvation Army in Bay City. It was Halloween, and I was laughing that they made that light blink like that to be creepy just for the occasion. I know they didn't, but yeah. So I've been here before, and you can kind of see the prices there. This was all the books that they had was down these, this shelving unit, but there were quite a few and a lot of fairly new books. So I was impressed by that. Now, these prices are more than what I typically pay for books at thrift stores, but still fantastic prices. I mean, you're not really getting that anywhere else, or many places. And so, yeah, you can see a lot of authors there as you're scrolling through that are well known and So I had a lot of fun looking for something that might catch my eye and be something I want to read. Did I get anything? You'll see. And then the last thrift store that we went to, I did end up finding a couple of things. I found this Fiction Favorites, which is made by Reader's Digest. I have another one of these where they put like 4 different books in one. Now, ideally, do I like to just have a single book? Yes. But I saw something on here, which is the same reason that I picked up the last one that I did. I had seen the rom-commers was in it, and so that's why I picked that up. And this one, I saw Welcome to Murder Week was in it, and so that's what made me grab this one. So it contains Welcome to Murder Week by Karen Dukas, I Need You to Read This by Jessa Maxwell, Yours Eventually by Nura Maznavi, and Perfect Storm by Paige Shelton. So they just put some tiny little blurbs on the back here, a tiny little synopsis of the book, so I'll just go ahead and read those to you real quick. So Welcome to Murder Week is when a woman from snowy Buffalo travels to the English countryside for a fun murder mystery simulation in a small British village, she uncovers much more than just a fake killer. And then we have I Need You to Read This. Alex Marks is shocked when her favorite advice columnist is murdered and Alex is hired to take her place. But now someone is threatening her, and Alex fears the killer may be after her too. Then I've got Yours Eventually. A young Pakistani-American doctor gets an unexpected second chance with the first love she never got over when he becomes one of the most eligible bachelors in town. And then Perfect Storm. After surviving a kidnapping, Beth Rivers has built a new life in Alaska, but now her abductor has escaped from prison and Beth's loved ones will do whatever it takes to keep her safe. So they all sound good, completely different types of stories, and I thought that was a good deal, and it was $1.49. And then I was really excited to pick this one up. I picked up Sometimes I Lie by Alice Feeney. I know this is an unreliable narrator kind of situation, which love. And this was $1.99 for the hardcovers. So this is a psychological thriller, and I love, it says up here, my name is Amber Reynolds. There are 3 things you should know about me. I'm in a coma. My husband doesn't love me anymore. And sometimes I lie. And so it's basically, she wakes up, she cannot speak, she cannot see, she, can't open her eyes at all. And the people around her don't know she can hear everything that's going on now. And so she is kind of going back and forth between the week before her accident or whatever happened to her, and then like what's happening there as she's in the hospital and trying to figure out who are people who are coming there. There's someone who comes like in the evenings and sits with her. You're kind of skeptical. She's talking about like her husband doesn't love her anymore. She thinks he might have had something to do with it. Maybe her sister did too, or her sister and her husband having an affair. So it's all these things that you're trying to figure out, and then we will find the conclusion at the end. That's supposed to be very exciting. So I hope it is. So those were the books I picked up on this little thrifting adventure, and I think I did pretty good. I found a lot of books that I'm really excited about, well-known authors, and books that I've had on my TBR, and so yeah, I'm excited to read them. I hope that you guys enjoyed seeing where I went and what I found, and definitely like this video if you liked it, and like I said, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and definitely say hello to me down in the comments. Let me know if you've read any of these books, what you think about the prices, anything that you want to say. I'm interested in hearing, and I would love to say hello to you. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you again very soon. Bye.